wrote down 4 things that Ted Gerard meant to me and taught me, and I guess just exemplified by his life. The first, in everything, I mean, he was so consistent. That's not one of them, but I mean, the impressions that everybody has seem to be the same because he was just the same yesterday, today, and I guess forever. But he was an optimist. That's what I would call it, and I don't know if that's a correct word for it or not, but he had this way of looking at a situation, just like the picture of the girl or the lady or the old woman. And he could look at a situation where it just looked like there was really no hope. And he would look at it and he'd say, he could see something good in that. He could see the positive things that were going to come from that. And he didn't really know them all the time, but he could see that. When Donna was so sick with her, so many different operations and everything on her head, I mean, you could see him every week, and he would just have that positive attitude. He said, I don't know what the future holds. And Sanford, you picked out the right songs. I know you picked these out for a person, but these were his philosophy, his life's philosophy. God is so good, and in his time, and all these things, and I think that's what really kept him going. Now, we know he loved music, and it's already been mentioned. And I really think the reason he loved music so much is that was the way he connected with God. And there's so many different ways we can connect to God, but I think that's the way he did it. And since he connected that way, he's like the rest of us. If I connect with God in a certain way, then I think everybody's going to connect the same way with him. And so the words of these songs, the melodies, the tunes, I think that was one way that he connected with God. Not only connected with God, but also stated his faith. These songs, I mean, that's Ted Gerard, on the page there, and he loved that, and he wanted all of us to love it too, even maybe to the point of being, Don said, persistent. I call it hard-headedness because that's just the way I call it. But if someone said, just don't sing those new songs on Sunday morning, I mean, it's just like talking to a brick wall because he was going to do it. It didn't matter, But I know the reason now. I think I know the reason why is because he's so connected with God that way, and he just knew everybody else would too, and he wanted that so badly. He took time with little guys, like me. I mean, it didn't matter who you were. He would hand that picture to you, or he would hand something to you and say, "Read this. This is from the Bible. What does it say?" It says, "I will not have you, ignorant brethren." He said, now, you can look at words on a page and it doesn't matter what it says. It's how you say it. And he would just, he always kept me off balance. I always felt like, somebody here is really awkward. It's either him or me. And I always thought it was him, but now I've come to find out he was really on solid ground. He knew exactly what he was doing. I'm the one that was, a little off balance there. But Ted was honest and trustworthy. I mean, in every way. I don't know how many years he was treasurer, but that's not an easy place to be. And that it's said that the crooks usually gather around where the money is, whether it's in the church or government or any organization. If you're a crook and you gather there, then it'll be found out. It'll be known. But there was not a dishonest bone in his body, and he was trustworthy. I mean, beyond. And a lot of times, I don't think we had checks and balances. Now everybody's really concerned about checks and balances. But he was, even with no checks and balances, he was beyond question, in every, at all times. And so, honest and trustworthiness is something that I think he exemplified, he lived, and I learned from him. And then the last thing is just a quiet servant spirit that he had. He didn't have to be up front. He didn't have to be leading the meeting or whatever. I don't know how many hours a week he spent, trying to keep the books just in the office, and he did that so faithfully. But I'll always remember Ted Gerard. He's up there, I'm sure, not standing outside, if you know what I'm talking about.